into a global crisis of monumental proportions. What began as a congressional action against a controversial statement has morphed into a multifaceted catastrophe. Tempers tempers flared during explosive debate to censure Rashida Tlaib. Chip Roy totally unleashed on Rashida Tlaib and demanded that she be censured by fellow House members of all people. Now, the House's passage of the GOP-led resolution to censure Representative Rashida Tlaib, this measure was taken in response to her critical comments of Israel and her show of support for Palestinians during Israel's conflict with Hamas. This vote, which split along party lines with four Republicans opposing and 22 Democrats supporting this censure, it marked the initial spark that set the world ablaze. And just 2 weeks after son of Hamas leader issues a very chilling warning to America. And if you guys remember, in a previous video, I informed you of the FBI's warning of attacks on U.S. soil. The FBI warned of cyber attacks on our critical infrastructure, water, electric grids, airports, and ultimately threatening to plunge our nation into turmoil. Cities across the U.S. remain on high alert, and that includes the 6 areas that the redliner thinks are the most likely targets of a nuclear attack: New York, Chicago, Houston, Los Angeles, San Francisco, and of course, Washington, D.C. Now, these cities, they're not just some of the largest, densest cities in the country, but they're also home to a very critical array of infrastructure, like energy plants, financial hubs, government facilities, and of course, wireless transmission systems. And these are vital to U.S. security. Now, the U.S. is building a nuclear weapon that is reportedly 24 times more powerful than the Hiroshima bomb. The Pentagon indicated that this new gravity bomb is a variation of the B-61 gravity bomb, which was previously developed back in the 1960s during the Cold War, and it was announced by the Department of Defense last week. Now, by the way, drop me a quick comment, guys. Drop me some thumbs up real quick. Only takes a second. Drop a quick thumbs up for the video. Also, in the comments down below, let me know what city you are from. Let me know what city you're watching from. Also, if you're watching from outside of the country, just drop a quick comment and let me know what country you're representing from. I'd love to hear from you guys. So the origins of this crisis could be traced back to a seemingly routine congressional action, the passage of a GOP-led resolution to censure Representative Rashida Tlaib. Now, at first glance, this action might just kind of appear as just another political maneuver in the landscape of Washington, D.C. Oh, man, you guys are hitting me up in the comments. We got Las Vegas, Nevada, Houston in the house, Courtney C., Soul Sisters from Las Vegas, Nevada, Daryl McNeil from Bronx, New York. I've got Charles Bowie from Philly. We got Katinqua Hawkins from Baltimore, Maryland. Wow. Houston area, Texas, Los Angeles, Chicago, Hawaii, Seattle, Detroit, Oakland, San Antonio, Texas, Denver. You guys are in the house today. I didn't see anybody from overseas yet. Yeah, I know I've got some overseas people here. Anyway, so at first glance, this action might appear as just another political maneuver in the highly charged landscape of Washington, D.C. However, it took a very extraordinary significance, and it triggered a kind of a chain of events that would ultimately shake the very foundations of global politics. Now, this particular censure resolution was introduced following Rashida Tlaib's comments, which were critical of Israel and her vocal support of Palestinians during the Israel-Hamas conflict. And, you know, this alternative reality, the resolution, it ultimately passed with dramatic flair, revealing the deep divisions among lawmakers. This particular vote, which took place just hours ago, with 234 votes in favor and 188 votes against, was more than a mere symbolic gesture. It actually became the catalyst for what was to come. A pivotal element of this crisis was the presence of Rashida Tlaib, who was the first Palestinian American woman to serve in Congress. Now, her unique position as a trailblazer in U.S. politics It definitely heightened the global significance of this censure. And in this alternative scenario, Rashida Tlaib's heritage and background became very central to the narrative, resonating with Palestinian communities worldwide. Now, with the censure resolution in our reality, largely split along party lines, it saw even greater polarization. Four Republicans broke ranks, voting against the censure, while 22 Democrats, many from swing districts, ended up supporting this particular measure. Now, this deepened the divisions not only with Congress, but also among the American electorate. So, this resolution's introduction by Georgia GOP Representative Rick McCormick played a very pivotal role in escalating the situation. So, McCormick, a relatively lesser known figure on the national stage, suddenly found himself kind of thrust into this global spotlight. His actions and statements became scrutinized by media outlets worldwide, ultimately shaping the perceptions of this particular crisis. Now, in the lead up to the censure vote, there were attempts by Democrats to block the resolution, mirroring the actual events. However, these efforts they failed in a more dramatic fashion, ultimately underscoring the growing divide within the Democratic Party over how to handle the situation. So, as the censure attempts mounted, Representative Rashida Tlaib, she refused to back down. She ultimately defended herself, asserting that the efforts to censure her were part of a greater agenda to silence her voice. And in an emotional and impassioned speech on the House floor, she articulated her belief that criticizing the Israel government should not be conflated with anti Semitism. Her declaration that Palestinian people are not disposable resonated deeply with her supporters. And one of the more important moments during this crisis, it occurred when Representative Ilhan Omar of Minnesota, a fellow progressive and one of Tlaib's closest allies, stood up to comfort Tlaib during her emotional speech. Now, the image of these two individual congresswomen representing marginalized communities really united against adversity, and it became a symbol of defiance and solidarity. Now, while a previous attempt to censure Tlaib had been blocked, in reality, this time the resolution garnered even more support from Republicans. Now, the language of this resolution was narrower and was more tailored to recent events, making it more palatable to a broader spectrum of Republican lawmakers. And this heightened support added fuel to the fire of the growing crisis. Central to this crisis were the controversial surroundings of Tlaib's support for the pro-Palestinian chant saying, "From the river to the sea." Now, this phrase, widely regarded as inflammatory, had already garnered criticism from both Republicans and from the Democrats. And the condemnation of this particular chant, it reached new heights, further polarizing public opinion. So this Anti-Defamation League's classification of the chant as anti-Semitic, it played a pivotal role in escalating this crisis. The organization's condemnation not only reverberated across media, but also triggered further debates about the boundaries of free speech and criticism of Israel. House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries, a very prominent figure within the Democratic Party, he expressed his concerns about Tlaib's use of this particular chant. So Jeffries' comments gained widespread attention, leading to further increased scrutiny of Tlaib's actions and rhetoric. Now, the censure resolutions also referenced comments made by Tlaib regarding an explosion at the hospital in Gaza. So Tlaib's social media posts in this particular incident triggered debates and controversies as the details were contradicted by American intelligence. Now, as the news of the censure spread, international relations began to crumble. Nations worldwide expressed their condemnation of the United States' handling of the situation. The United Nations called for emergency sessions, seeking a resolution to de-escalate this crisis. Traditional U.S. allies voiced their concerns, leading to strained diplomatic ties. Now, in the age of social media, the crisis manifests online with unparalleled intensity. Hashtags like Tlaib censure crisis trended globally while disinformation campaigns fueled the flames to discord. The virtual world mirrored the turmoil in this particular physical realm, amplifying the tensions. Then you got financial markets worldwide, experiencing unprecedented turbulence as investors grapple with the mounting geopolitical risks. The list goes on and on and on. Supply chains, trade routes were disrupted on a global scale, affecting everyday consumers. And, one of the most alarming consequences was the escalation of the global conflict. In the Middle East, regional tensions erupted into open hostilities. Countries in the region were drawn into the fray, leading to a humanitarian crisis of epic proportions. Now, of course, the crisis resulted in massive displacement of people in the Middle East, with vulnerable populations facing dire circumstances. Humanitarian organizations struggled to provide aid to those affected as access to conflict zones becoming increasingly perilous. So, what are you guys' thoughts on today's updates? Within the United States, political polarization reached unprecedented levels. Violent clashes between opposing groups became more of a common occurrence. State and local governments found themselves kind of grappling with the daunting task of maintaining law and order. National security concerns mounting as extremist groups seized the opportunity to advance their agendas both domestically and abroad. By the way, if you guys haven't already, make sure you check out the new YouTube channel. The new YouTube channel, there's a link in the description down below this video. I'll make sure to drop a quick comment for you guys. Try to pin a comment so that you can actually get access to the new YouTube channel. It's called Truth Exposed. Gotten a lot of positive feedback from it. I'd love to get your feedback on it. But like I said, I'll drop a comment for you guys so you can check it out for yourselves. And let me know what you guys think. Let me know what you guys think. But we've got some pretty serious situations happening and unfolding on a rather increasing basis. The updates are coming out more and more rapidly, and I'm doing my very best to keep the community posted and up to date. I do hope that you guys appreciate the updates that I try to provide you guys as quickly as possible. If you haven't already, drop a quick like for the video. Also, like I said, represent your city. Drop a comment and let me know what city you're from. Also, consider subscribing to the channel. Catalia's in the house. Catherine Segrin. Gerald Dapper. Good morning, folks. Let's see, who else do we have in here? We got North Dakota in the house. An expensive ghetto. Wow. Naomi Campbell from Central Valley, California. John USOS. UCE from Arkansas in the house. Nice. What is going on? We got Jesus Cobra in the house. Judy Highland. St. Louis, Missouri. Miss C888. I see you. A versus A near Los Angeles. We've got Donna Patterson from Bedford, Ohio. I can't wait to keep going through these comments. Guys, make sure you check out the new website, the new YouTube channel, Truth Exposed. I'll leave a link for you guys in the comment section down below. If you want to support the channel, there's a link for that as well. And I'm going to catch you guys on the next one.